Hello, hello, hello. Can you all hear me? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, thanks, Janice. So, thanks, I said what I said. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Shay. Shay, you said that you're gonna be listening until you get home. Okay, Shay, be safe. Okay, I'm gonna start your answer, Abril, until I um get when I ask the question, then I'll bring your answer up. I started, so it won't disappear on me. Thanks for the ones. So, how's everybody's day going? You're welcome, Shay. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day so far. Every day above ground should be a great day no matter what we may be experiencing. We're still here to experience it. Okay, Shay, you go ahead and type in your answer, Shay, and I'll start yours too. Okay, Larry, good for you. Yeah, go ahead and put your answer in. Good, good, Abril. I'm glad to hear that. Great. So it looks like we have Jamal Williams. Welcome back, Jamal. It's been a long time. It's great seeing you. And then we have who that? Hey, who that? We have Vaughn. Hey, Vaughn. We have Janice. Hey, Janice. We have Larry King. Hey, Larry. We have Wanda of the Soul Session. Hey, Wanda. We have Shay. Hey, Shay. Again, be safe, Shay. We have Abril. Hello, Abril. We have I said what I said. Hey, I said what I said. I want to hear what you're going to have to say today. So, the question, have you healed from your past? So, Abril and Shay already answered. Abril said, my answer for today's topic is not all the way, almost, but working on it. Feel free to leave your answers in the chat. That's what she's saying. And thanks, Abril. Shay says, I'm still working on it daily so that my glams won't have to experience what I have. That is a great way to think. Great. So let me get back to the chat. Janice says, no, because I refuse to let go. Wow. Yeah, Vaughn, you missed the music. Larry says, yes, I have both physically and mentally. Good for you, Larry. Time. Hey, Time. How are you today? Thanks for joining. Oh, Bond said hit the like button, y'all. Chase, I was looking for a trigger warning sign, but this phone of mine Okay, guys, I'll be in the chat. Okay, Shay. You be in the bushes. Okay. I thought that's what you meant, but I didn't. I thought you, for some reason, you just flew home or something. Hey, Scorpio Mama, how are you today? Welcome back. So, if anybody else want to answer? Yes, Bond. Bond, answer the question, Bond. Have you healed from your past? You said every day, Bond. So you're working on it every day? Right, right, Janice. Okay, Vaughn. So I'm gonna give y'all another minute to answer before I go on. I'll you see that on Scorpio Mama said you can call her Scorp. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna give y'all one more minute for anybody who wants to answer the question. Anybody else wants to answer? Have you healed from your past? Before I move on. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all argue. I'm gonna let y'all argue that one, okay? Larry says, from the hospital, I was in a wheelchair. I didn't start walking again until I turned 9 years old. Wow. Hmm. I'm happy to see you too, Scorpio, Mama. Okay, I said what I said, so she's still working on it. Okay, so let me go on. And welcome to everybody who may be in the bushes. So let me go on with this live and tell you. Okay, so Juan says something she's healed from. Okay. So let me tell you, speaking of nine, Larry, said, I will never heal because I would never heal because I guess that's never dance with my father again. Okay. Wanda says yes. Scorpio Mama says she's working on her too, but folks are out to lunch nowadays. That's what Scorpio Mama said. So, speaking of nine, when I was 9 years old, one day I was with friends And we were walking to the corner store, and we had to walk up a hill. So we were walking up the hill, and I slipped. And I fell. When I fell, a tree branch stuck in my arm. Okay, Jamal. And so the ambulance was called, and I was rushed to the hospital. I had to get, I believe it was 6 stitches. And as I look at my left arm, I still have the scar. But when I look at that scar, I see that I'm healed. I don't look at that scar, and every time I look at it, I think about what happened to me and I break down. I see that I was healed, that I am healed. I can't tell you how long ago it was. Scorpio mama, you need to catch up. I can't tell you how ago it was when I was healed. But what I can tell you is that I am healed. And when I look at that scar, it reminds me that I'm healed. So today's scripture verse comes from Psalm 147:3. And it says, He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. And this is the King James Version. God can and He will heal you. But oftentimes, God works through people. Hey, Charlie's Angel, thank you for joining. God works through people. So when that tree branch was in my arm, 911 was called, and I was rushed to the hospital. But usually, people have no problems with getting help for physical injuries. I say usually because I know that some people do. But for the most part, when we are physically injured, we get help. And with physical injuries, the healing process can take longer for others than it does for some. This is also true when it comes to emotional and mental and spiritual healing. We can't compare the time that it took for us to heal to others. Someone may heal sooner than we did, and some may still be in the process of healing because healing varies. But again, God is a healer, and He works through people for the most part. However, if you are still holding on to things from your childhood, I highly recommend that you seek professional help. And I know I've said this before, but I feel that somebody needs to hear needs to heal, needs to hear it more. Hey, Mimi, thanks for joining. So just as you would see a doctor, a physical doctor for your physical injuries or ailments, you should also seek professional help for those emotional, mental, or even spiritual ailments. And if you have a counselor who is not working out for you, you should consider changing your counselor. Just like I've had doctors, physicians, medical physicians who weren't, I didn't feel were helping me. They weren't as attentive to me as I felt they should have been. And so what I did was I switched physicians. And I believe right now I have the right medical provider for me. Hey, Too Strong. Thank you for joining. That's what you need to do if you are dealing with ailments that your doctor isn't helping you with, or your therapist isn't helping you with. So also, I had a former coworker who had a child. Hey, Nesto, Shackle Shuckle, Walk of Shame. How are you today? So this coworker, she had a child that absolutely, Wanda, absolutely. Don't, just as you wouldn't have shame in going to see your medical doctor for illnesses, you should never be ashamed to get the help you need that is not physical. So I'm going to leave that up there for now. But my former coworker, she ended up, well, let me go back. Her child had asthma, and the doctor recommended that she move to a different state where the air quality was better. She ended up moving. I'm fun. I'm not playing with you today, okay? Um, she ended up moving. Okay, Vaughn. I'm gonna go back. Um, she ended up moving to another state, and when she moved to that state, she moved based on doctor's recommendation, and shortly thereafter, her son's asthma improved, and it improved greatly. We kept in touch for a while. I'm not in touch with her anymore, but I know her son is an adult now because this was a long time ago. But anyway, she moved to a different state, and her son's health improved. So the reason why I brought that up is because just as my coworker had to move to an entirely different state, Sometimes you may have to change your environment in order for you to be healed. And I'm not talking about moving to a different state, but what I am talking about is having a different state of mind. If you have to put some distance between you and someone who may be harming your mental health, then that's just what you may have to do. But you have to do what's best for you and your health, for your overall health. So do whatever you need to do to heal. Just heal. Mimi says, therapy is the best thing that ever happened to her. That's a wonderful thing, Mimi. I'm so happy that you were not ashamed, like a lot of people are, to get the help that you needed. So I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing. Hey, Miss Buckeye, how are you today? Thank you for joining. So what I'm saying to you is if you need to see a therapist, if you need to switch therapists, if you need to change your environment, if you need to put some distance between you and what's making you sicker, do what you need to do, but heal. Because if you don't heal, people who don't heal oftentimes tend to make others sick. You affect somebody else's life. So that's what I have to say on the subject. I pray that somebody has been blessed and that you will take the time, take the steps that you need to heal. But I also want to, before I end it, I want to stress that don't look at someone else and compare their life to yours. Because, like I said before, we don't all heal the same. So it could take someone else 10 years to heal from something where it only took me 5 years. But we are different. And don't beat yourself up if you know you're doing the right things and you still have to work on your healing. It's no different from if you have a physical ailment and you keep going to the doctor and they can't figure out what's wrong. That doesn't mean that you give up. You keep going until you figure it out, until you figure out what's wrong and you can be truly healed. Thank you, Scorpio Mama, because we all deserve to live a life where we are healed and we can actually bless someone else. So, again, I pray that this message has blessed someone and that if you are not healed, you work on it. So I have the link pinned in the chat. Right, self-care. I have the link pinned in the chat if anybody wants to come up to say anything. Amen, Wanda. Feel free. Feel free to hit the link if you would like to come on the panel to say anything. Vaughn says, hit the like button. Y'all don't want her yelling at you. Please follow her instructions. That's right. Take care of you. Abril says, see my counselor weekly. Don't miss an appointment. Our appointments are just as important as my nail, hair, and other medical appointments. Our mental health is the most important thing to maintain. Amen. Thank you, Vaughn. Saying it again, Wanda. That's all I'm saying. People who do not heal, they end up bleeding, throwing up on everybody else and messing up other people's lives. We are not healed, and we go into relationships and we take it out on others. Right. So I'm going to give y'all a few minutes if anybody wants to come up on the panel to say anything. Thank you, Charlie's Angel. Anybody want to join the panel? Let me know. Yeah, people do lie to themselves. Yep, and they don't have to. Hey, sweet Rita. How are you today? Thank you for joining. Give me a minute, Vaughn. We deserve to be whole. Amen, Charlie's Angel. Let me finish reading these comments, Vaughn. Let me finish reading these comments because I don't want to miss anything.
Okay.
You know, you can still stay up here. Janice says she's healing slowly without affecting others because I don't open up to a lot of people. Okay, Janice. Take the time that you need to heal. Wanda says, I have to make this comment as I always do. You go to therapy and pray. Pray and go to therapy. You can't leave out prayer because a lot of times when you don't pray, you end up with the wrong therapist. So y'all know my scripture. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Acknowledge him in all your ways. Okay, Miss Buckeye. Well, God bless you.
3, 5, and 6.
Uh-huh. You want to read it, Vaughn?
Wait, I know it. Okay. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart
Uh-huh.
and lean not to thine own understanding, and he shall direct thy path in all ways. right?
You can you almost got it. You almost got it. Trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. Acknowledge him in all
Yes,
your ways and he will direct your path.
I'm working on
Okay.
it.
Bond, you get advice for free. Some other folks got to pay for it. That's what Scorpio Mama said. Thanks, Jamal. Sweet Rita's here. You don't see her, Scorpio? Yeah, thank you all for supporting the channel. Um, just a reminder, I have a tentative date for channel giveaway, which is next Thursday. It could change, that's why it's still tentative. But make sure you watch some of the replays or watch the playlist so that you'll know some of the answers to the questions. I think I'm going to have more questions this time. Thanks, Abril.
Can we have a refresher course, some study time first?
Refresh course.
Can we have a study
Yeah.
time, Miss Alice?
Your study time is watching or listening to the replays.
Oh, okay, I can do that.
So you want me to make it for Thursday after next?
Yeah, that'll give me more time.
I'll think about it.
Okay. Look, I just want to pass the test.
You know how people say I spoil you. I don't want to,
Miss Alice, they just be hating. That's all. Let me stop. Let me stop.
Oh man. So yeah, go ahead, Vaughn. Wait a minute. Go ahead and say what you were going to say.
I was gonna say, I'm glad you're talking about healing. Because I had a revelation. Okay, because I was watching. Joe, Thrive and Glow with Joe.
Uh-huh.
She was talking about her journey, and self working on herself. And she said she started her journey 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And although, I know, that, things take time, I was just kind of in a place where I want things to happen now. And I'm like that a lot, so I don't have the
Mm-hmm.
best patience. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
So um I realized that, I've, like I said, I've healed from some things, and I've even talked about it, like, relationships with like my parents, things from the childhood. But there are some things, that, I'm not healed from. But like I said, every single day. Because to me, I'm quick to anger, I'm a little pop off, all right. I get
Uh-huh.
everybody together. So to me, when I said I'm healing every single day, it's like, knowing my triggers, okay, trying to have a little more patience, you know, while I'm working on myself so that, you know, I can truly become a better person, because to me, before I got in therapy, I thought I was just fine, Miss Alice. I mean, I really
Mm-hmm.
did. I thought, other people was the problem.
Right.
So I've learned, that yeah, some things were other people's fault, or something. What I learned in therapy, what I really like that I learned in therapy is that, like, for example, that my parents were also human.
Right.
Okay. And so I try to look at everybody like that, because I have like I'm one of them people that um I guess you can say it's a little narcissism. It's like I expect people to be perfect. And the only reason I say it's a little narcissism is because I held grudges against my parents, you know.
Mm.
I didn't do it out loud though. I don't want anybody, to, think I was just, but and I'm not comparing myself. I'm just, I've seen how other people handle their parents, and to me it's just like, yeah, no, see, that'll get you in trouble. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to acknowledge, and that's why I say people, you know, we have to be honest with ourselves, and that is hard for me when it comes to certain things, especially with, and I'm just keep bringing up my parents because I really broke up with my therapist when he brought like certain things to my attention that to me I'm just talking to him, right? But he's
Right.
a therapist, so he would say something that I didn't like, and I'd be like, let's not even talk about that, and he just, and I'm not saying that the therapist fixed me or changed me. What I realize is in therapy, they let you talk and you kind of figure it out on your own, and they just throw little things out there, and you be like, oh, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I stopped going to therapy, for a while because, my therapist brought up, something that I had said, and I got mad because to me, because he was like, well, go to, this person, go to that person. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. That's not going to fix anything. And then it was like, well, I don't blame, my mom for this or my dad for that. And, it kind of had to like, he had to work with me, y'all, because I was like, no, okay. So, I do believe that God, is a miracle worker, and I'm not saying that my mom and I just had this horrible relationship. To me, we have a normal mother-daughter dynamic compared to what I've seen. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, um, I prayed to God and I told him what was on my heart, and in my opinion, He restored our relationship. But I had to be honest. And I had to be honest with God. I had to be honest with myself about what it was, what I needed. You know, I had to be honest. And I'm not good with being honest about certain things because to me, it's not real. It's not true. It didn't happen. I don't care. Or I will even excuse a person's behavior depending on how I feel about them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I promise y'all, I'm not saying, some horrible things just happen. It's just, you know, life, So to me, healing, from your past is necessary. It doesn't happen overnight, even though I would love for it to happen. But it is like a daily thing. And I credit any of my healing, things that, I can talk about that don't bother me, to God. Because I am an emotional person. I get mad quick. I will just cut everything out, everybody off, curse you out. I will do a lot, you know. So I credit, my healing in certain areas to therapy and God. Okay. And being honest with myself and not being in denial about stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I wanted to say. I'm not trying to say, I'm just all perfect because I'm not, but
Mm-hmm.
I do think, us black people, because people, they call me an Oreo. You talk like a white girl, that's white people stuff. I feel like, white people stuff sometimes be the answer.
But it's not white people stuff.
So I'm big on yes, therapy. I wish I could get other people to go to therapy, you know, um, but they don't. And I know with a lot of men, I've learned that men do not like, therapy. They don't like talking about their feelings and stuff. But I don't think you're weak or less than for seeking help of any kind. Now, this is
Mm-hmm.
coming from me, the person who thinks she can do it all on her own. I think I'm better than everybody. Okay. I don't need no help. So if I'm telling you it's okay, to be vulnerable and get you some help, and I'm not saying I'm God, y'all, but I'm just trying to get y'all to understand the message. But if I'm saying it's okay to be vulnerable and get you some help, okay, do it. Because I used to really feel weird for needing therapy. I did, and once I realized like, no, this is actually helping, and us as people of color, we need to get used to the idea of seeking help. It doesn't mean that we're not strong. It doesn't mean that at all.
Right. I think that's the problem that we have in our community is people see it as a weakness. Even I think a lot of times marriages um, break up because one person or the other doesn't want to talk to talk to someone about what they're going through.
I agree.
Like men don't a lot of men, not all, some are good at it, but a lot of men they won't um, go to a medical physician, let alone talk to a counselor or a therapist.
Hmm. And it's because, well, from what I've heard men say, well, they don't like expressing their feelings. Or and even if they don't say it, you can just kind of see it, like certain because some men are vulnerable and open. I don't really care for them, but I, on the other hand, I'm the kind of person, you know, I'm just gonna say this, okay? Some men are comfortable with, expressing their feelings. Those men will go to therapy. But the
Hmm.
ones that are like, and I just gotta be honest, y'all. Yes, my husband, he's one of them people. I like that he's not, just be crying all the time. Okay, but
Hmm.
um, what I will say is that I try to, tell men, it's okay, to talk, you know, about certain, like, it doesn't make you less of a man. I want to say I told somebody that on Facebook because they said something like, therapy, and it's like, but it's a healer. It really is, and
Hmm.
it's private. You don't have to, worry about nobody telling on you or anything like that. And some people think, like, for example, my therapist told me to go back to school. Never, I didn't think my therapist was going to tell me to do that, you know,
Hmm.
but they can even kind of be like life coaches. They will, give you something, to do with yourself. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So it's not all about your feelings and stuff. I'm gonna just say this. In my experience, the therapist will help you where you need to be helped. And I agree with Miss Alice about praying about your therapist. You know, I definitely agree with that. Because there's some weird people out here.
Yeah. But even I want to say, I know I said what I said is here, so I'm not going to talk too much before she gets to talk. But
Hi, sis.
as far as grief is concerned, some people, like I was talking about any kind of healing, um, some people would tell you, "Oh, that person's been gone so long. You need to get over that, or you still grieving over that." Um, just as any other kind of issue, it depends on the person. So for me, one of my I think I told you, Vaughn, about one of my cousins who passed. I think I've talked about it before. My cousin, my first cousin, who's like a sister to me.
Mhm.
She passed like 4 years ago, and I had to. I ended up going to counseling because it just tore me up.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, I stopped going to counseling because I figured I was good. But when something happened recently, I realized that I really wasn't healed from that completely. So,
Oh.
I need to,
Mhm.
get back into that. So sometimes you can think that you're healed, but something may happen to trigger you to help you realize that you really aren't completely healed. And it's okay. It's okay to talk to somebody. You know, you're not alone in this world. We are not, no man or woman is an island. We all need somebody at some point in life. Hey,
Mm.
I said what I said. Go ahead and say what you have to say, sis.
Hey,
Business
ladies.
partner.
Hey,
Hello.
Alice. Hey, Young Bond.
Hey, young fun.
Yes, that's her new name for me, is Young Bond. I came to that conclusion.
Right. I look. I think I'm doctoring it too. Young fun. I
Yeah.
like. I
What?
like that.
Miss
Yeah.
Alice, you
Young fun.
I
And
like it.
Young Bond know why I'm calling her Young Bond also.
Uh-huh.
She know exactly what.
The inside joke.
There you go. There you go. But so Alice, I just want to piggyback off what you said because I don't really have anything in my past that I'm healing from.
Mhm.
I can pretty much heal from everything except it seemed like from grief. That's one thing I struggle with.
Mhm.
And so that's really one thing that I'm still struggling with is the grief. And for it took me about 20 years to get over the fact that my mom wasn't going to be here anymore. And now I'm just trying to get used to I'm trying to get used to not be to of being here without my brother. And so when you spend a long time with people, and like you said, sometimes when somebody passed, sometimes it's hard to get through that because I you never get over it. You know, God just give you the strength to get through it or to live with it. And so that's what I'm trying to learn how to do now is just to live with the fact that neither one of them are here any longer. And so at the end of the day, no one can tell you how long to grieve. You can't even tell yourself how long to grieve. And I just feel like a lot of times it depends on how close you are to a person. It's something that you never really overcome because anything can trigger you to make you think of the person that you're grieving. Right
Hmm.
now,
Right.
like I can't listen to an Al Green song without uh, thinking about my mom. And it's just certain songs or certain familiarities or just even certain people
Right.
will make me remember that. And it's not a place that I can go, especially within my family, um, especially on my mom's side. Sometimes they'll say, well, you sound like your mother, or that's something that your mom would say. So people, a lot of times, the people won't even allow you to get over that, or not get over it or get through it.
Uh-huh.
And so, at the end of the day, it's just something that you have to learn how to live with, and really try to, you know, uh, let the sun shine as bright as it can. Because once you lose that special person or people in your life, I'm sorry, the sun just don't shine as bright anymore. And yes, you can be happy, but it just seemed like you can't get that happiness back that you had when those people were around you. It's like a certain security blanket in so many ways, especially when it's a parent or, like I said, a sibling, somebody that you're extremely close to.
Right.
So, and you can go to therapy all you want, and
Hey, Santa.
I'm not
Yeah.
trying to stop anybody from going to therapy, but I just don't feel like therapy can help you with that. I just feel like that's something time is going to have to help heal. And yes, it does get easier each day and each year, but it's okay to go talk to a therapist, about what you're feeling and try to figure out why you're feeling the way that you are. But just in my experience, I just don't think a therapist can help you get over grief, uh,
Mm.
because it's just something that's always with you, especially like I said, when it's someone that you're very close to. And so I've been to therapy, I actually had to go to therapy when I almost lost my brother because I couldn't fathom the fact that I couldn't even, I just couldn't really imagine my life, my life of being here without him. And so really God kind of gave me some time, to that realization. And also therapy did try to help me, but my therapist was telling me I was focusing on my brother too much, so I fired her and stopped going to her because I didn't like it. I didn't like what she was telling me because I don't feel like you should tell someone that they shouldn't focus on their loved ones, because we were, it was a different culture, and I felt like it was a cultural thing, and that's what y'all do, y'all do that in y'all culture, but that's not how we do in ours. In our
Mm-hmm.
culture, a lot of times in our culture, we're very close to our people, in certain instances. I'm not saying every family is like that, but a lot of black families are very close to their family. So when someone passes in the family, especially a matriarch or a sibling, it affects us hard. And grief and unalivement have always affected me. I've always been extremely sensitive to that subject. And it seems like a lot of times I even actually call it when somebody is getting ready to go to to the other side. Seems like I have a sense of knowledge of when that's gonna happen. In my family, I can like tell when it's time for somebody to to roll out of the family, and I didn't like that either, but I just accepted
Mm-hmm.
it, because that's not something
Mm.
that you want to think about. But if I think it, then it normally happens. And so maybe that's why I'm so sensitive to it. But I can't go to a funeral and not almost fall out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I feel
Oh,
like I
you
like
be
yeah, whether I feel like I like the person or not. No, I don't act up at the funerals. I try to contain
oh,
myself.
okay.
But I really be really, really crying. No, I don't do the Vaughn. I don't do like young Vaughn.
Not the
I was just
phone.
say, oh, we got more in common than you think.
No, 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 no,
Uh,
no. No, I don't do like young Vaughn do. But I,
uh,
but I do cry big crocodile tears when I go to a funeral.
Uh
And,
huh.
and it shocked me because I've always felt like I wasn't close to my grandmother, and I know that's
Mhm.
weird, but I have my reasons why I feel that way. We didn't care for each other like that. But when she passed away, I was just I was almost about to pass out, and I couldn't understand why. And I said,
mm.
Mm.
well, I guess I loved her more than I thought I did.
Wait, where'd she go?
Huh?
Yeah, where she go?
Where who go?
I can't hear
Well, that's
You
on
can't.
or
you.
see her.
That's that's
Oh,
something
that's
going
on
on
your
with your
end.
yeah, that's on your
Uh
end.
oh.
Yeah. But apparently you can hear me because you're responding. She say, "Oh,"
Oh,
but
she dropped. She'll be back.
yeah, she'll be back. But yeah, yeah, I was totally shocked the way that I reacted at her funeral, and I was blaming my uncles. Them, I was mad. I was like, I told y'all to go get her." And, just I kind of showed out a little bit at her funeral more than I showed at the other funerals, and I really it actually shocked me for me to even react that way.
Hmm.
Right, weird.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that see I was having a conversation with my husband, and I was talking about how um I have I at a point I had like been I just became numb when it came to death. But when my cousin passed, it was different. Even I was a toddler when my mother passed.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I still miss my mother, but that's like a child, miss their mother, their parent.
All right.
Um,
You can feel something missing, but you don't know what it is.
right, right.
Right.
But with my cousin, it's just different because I've I've lost a whole lot of people in my family, and the only person that came close to when my cousin passed, that feeling came close to was my uncle, my mother's youngest brother. Um, but that didn't even take me to where with my cousin, because she was like my sister. So
Mm,
that's like the closest thing I had to a sibling.
right. So if you know a person a long time and you walk and talk with them and you spend a lot of time with them, then it affects you greatly, especially if you really love them for real.
And she wasn't sick. If she
Yeah,
was sick,
yeah,
I
it
would
happened. Yeah, it
have had
just happened
time to
all of a sudden.
prepare.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I think that's worse. Especially when you're not expecting for someone to pass, because
yeah.
it's a difference when you're expecting it. And I really feel like God really did give me 7 years with my brother just to accept it, and that's on the real right there.
Yeah.
Technically, he wasn't even supposed to make it out of the hospital, but God blessed him with 7 more years.
Uh-huh.
And so I just feel like He just gave both of us that time, so that we both can accept the inevitable of what was to come, and so that I wouldn't just really just fall by the wayside by it, because I was very close to my brother. We're a year and a month and 2 days apart, so it was like we was like maternal twins or something. And we acted alike, and we had a lot of similarities. And my other two sisters always told me that I was always closer to him than I was them. And I didn't feel like I was, but I guess I was. But at the end of the day, I just feel like I'm close to all of my siblings, because I probably would feel the same way if one of them passed, and they just don't realize it. But I just feel like I may have treated him special because he was the only boy in the family. We didn't have any other brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of got special treatment from all of us, from
Uh-huh.
my mother and my sisters, because he was the only boy in the family.
Hey,
I w-
SBK, thank you for joining.
Hey, SBK.
hey SBK. I haven't experienced grief the way you ladies have. I will say I have a deep sympathy for y'all, or is it empathy? It's
Mm-hmm.
one of them,
Empathy.
because I couldn't imagine either or. Okay, um, our grandmother, my great grandmother passed, and I smell, sound, especially in the fall. It was one Thanksgiving we had, and I forgot she had even transitioned, and I was sitting right there. But I asked my her daughter, I call her Nana. So I asked her, I'm like, is Graham going down south, or is she coming here? And I'm like, wait a minute, she's not. It's like the thought was there and it was about to come out of my mouth because I was looking at her, and she's like, what? And I said, I was about to ask you, what I just asked you. I mean, what I said, right? And she was like, oh. And I said, I forgot. And we just staring at each other, like, and I'm like, is this normal? Like, does that happen? You know. So when I hear people talk about, the loss of their mothers, or, close friends, or, siblings, relatives of any sort, I just get really sad because it's like, I have two sisters and a brother, and my mother's still here, my father's still here, and it's like, I don't know what I would do. I've heard, people aren't the same, once, like, for example, my grandmother who passed, my mother always told me she wasn't the same after her best friend passed, you know. So I just feel for y'all. And, I don't I think I have to agree with that, what I said about a therapist helping you get over it, because I think grief is something you have to get through, not necessarily get over. Do I think therapy can, help you get through it? Yeah, but get over it, no. there's isn't there stages to grief, like, all of
Mm,
that anger,
yeah,
da 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 da. Yeah,
it
so
is.
yeah, I don't think it's something you can just get over. I definitely think it's something you just have to get through and you live with, daily. Especially like if you talk to someone every day, or you there, it's almost like losing your spouse. I see my spouse I see Jim every day, right? And to go from seeing him every day to not seeing him, not being able to talk to him, that, you know what I'm saying? It's different when you
Hmm.
like break up or something, or like, Miss Alice said, you separate from a person, but it's like when you realize here today, gone tomorrow, it's like, I don't think that's something easy to just get over,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's right to tell people to get over a death. I will say this though, if you grieving over somebody you ain't talked to in years, I'm a side eye you because what?
Hmm.
Okay,
That's
but
probably guilt.
Right.
yeah,
That's not grief. That's guilt,
Yeah,
right?
that's
it's
guilt,
like, wait,
and
what?
Yeah. And you don't get
that's
over it. You get to learn. You learn how to live with it.
right.
Okay. You never get over it. You just learn how to live with it. And so, uh,
Yeah,
a lot of people say, "Oh, I'll be glad when I get over it." Well, that's one thing you don't get to get over, unfortunately. But you find a way, to live with it. And it's not like your life is over with yet. So you have to learn how to, just live your life a different way. It's basically what happens.
Yeah.
yeah,
And you still be happy, but to me, you just don't be as happy. Sun just don't shine as bright. It'll shine, but it ain't gonna be bright as it used to be, in my opinion. And that's just for
yeah.
me. And that's just for me. I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, I'm still happy. I can still find happy times and happy moments, but I'm not as happy as I used to be. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. Like, when you get used to being around a person, you're not around them. You can't call them. I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I think to have memories can actually is actually a blessing. Um but then sometimes during the grief process, memories can also bring you down, like you were talking about, you know, um your mother. I said what I said, talking about, her song that
Mm-hmm.
she liked to listen to. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those memories, sometimes they can make you, some grief can be all over the place.
Right. You can be just driving down the street and all of a sudden it just hits you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you don't even have to be thinking about it, and all of a sudden it just hits you. And there's
Yeah,
nothing that you
Right.
can do about it.
and
Yeah.
I think that's, I don't think it's weird because I was always able to call my grandma, always, you know. So, some people say I wish there was a phone in heaven. Sometimes I feel that way. Like it'd be like,
Oh yeah.
what you doing up there? I don't know. I will say, I wish we didn't have to. Well, I ain't gonna say that because my mom said, but anyway, but it's a part of life. It's a sad part of life. I strongly wish we didn't have to experience death. I feel like I can deal with everything else, but
Mm-hmm.
not to be able to talk to someone anymore, touch them, laugh, whatever. It's strange. It's strange to see a person go from talking to lifeless. It's
Uh-huh.
it's out of this world. You know.
Yeah, I just don't. I just think it's one thing that we'll never get used to. We'll always handle different depending on who it is, and it's just an emotion that we prefer not to deal with, but we have to deal with it. And there's nothing that we
Yeah.
can do about it. We would like to, but there's nothing we can do about that one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I wish I could hug y'all right now. I ain't gonna lie. I just want to hug y'all.
Well, I mean, I'm okay now. I was just really answering the question, and so it's not something that just that I let drive my life. It's not my driving force in life, and I try not to stay in that place. But
Mhm.
I just wanted to explain, because we're not the only ones going through that. So just want to let people know that they're not alone, and there's nothing wrong with them if that happens to them.
Right.
Because even if it haven't happened yet, you just keep on living, and one day, your is gonna come, and
Uh-huh.
that's one reality that you will have to face in life. It's not something pretty or glamorous that we have to go through in life, but it's a part of our healing. It's a part of our growing and maturing, and really, it's even a part of our spirituality in so many words, because it just reminds you, you better get yourself ready, and you better get it together. And the older you
Mhm.
get, the more you think about it. You know, and it's not so much that you're just thinking about the grief part. And when I say the older you get, the more you think about the spirituality, because you understand, and that's just something that it's just one way that everyone has to go. And the more days you wake up, the more time you take off, if I can put it
Yeah,
that
my
way. You got more days behind you than you do in front of you, as long as you keep living, because you already know,
yeah.
we all subconsciously understand that that's the way that everybody's going to have to go. Now, do we know when the midnight hour is going to come? No, we do not. Sometimes you
Mm.
get the benefit of being, and I know it's not a benefit to be sick, but sometimes you can look at it as a benefit, because to me, it gives you time to get your soul right. Okay,
Mm.
get your life right with Jesus. So don't look at illness and sickness as a horrible and the worst thing that could happen to you, because to me, the worst thing could happen to you is you clock out and you get caught slipping and you ain't got your life right.
Hey, Elsie. Yeah.
Yeah, it make me laugh every time she say that. Vaughn, don't get caught slipping.
Uh,
But what I was gonna say is
So much to
my
learn, young Vaughn.
is that Jim, y'all so funny. But listen, Jim, I want to say this was maybe 3 years ago because his aunt is in her 70s, and we were talking, and he said that he asked his aunt, you know, do you think about it? He said he phrased the question just like that. Do you think about it? And I said, think about what? And he said, that's what she said. And I'm like, you asked her that? Like, you really asked her, and she's sitting around thinking about death? And he was like, yeah, because, you know, she's my auntie, she getting old. I think about it, like, because his just keep in mind, y'all, Jim he's the youngest child. Well, I mean the youngest boy, but not the youngest child. And his parents are my grandparents' age. So his aunt and his father are like very close in age. So, he say, he's been thinking about it. Now, mind you, he lost his mother when he was in his early 20s. And he just says, he thinks about it when he looks at them like, man, they getting up there. And I'm like, stop thinking about that when you look at them. I don't think like that when I think of my grandparents. But funny enough, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it. Now like my grandma, she's 72, and I'm having like, memories of, and it's like, okay, I'm 30, and my kids are, and I'm it's weird because when he was bringing it up, um my grandma, she was gone, and we knew she was, when you have dementia, that you succumb to your illness, right? Am I saying that right? Yes. So we knew, if you do your research, there's even a time span. But it's like with people constantly leaving, I think about it a little more often, and I think I understand why he was thinking the way he was thinking, you know. So I was saying all that to say, like I said, what I said was saying, you every day we wake up, we're getting closer to the time, right? And some people, in my opinion, don't get, a chance to get right. So, and some people look at illness as like suffering or you're being punished. But I agree with her that if you are, you know, going through something, that nobody knows about or whatever, you know, you should be reading your Bible, um, getting yourself prepared. Because even though I'm young, y'all, I'm 31, y'all. So even though I feel like, I don't feel like a spring chicken no more. Okay. I can't eat flaming hots at night and wake up and be okay anymore. Okay. But anyway, so um I do think that, you should prepare because it is something that's guaranteed to happen. They tell us to get our affairs in order. They tell us to do it. And some people even say we know when our time is coming, that you're blessed. Well, some people are blessed enough, to have that angel come sit at the bedside and talk to them. And, they act different, and they start preaching the gospel or whatever. People do different things when they know their time is coming. So, yeah, I do think you should prepare at any age because tomorrow is not promised to any of us, you know. But,
I'm glad you
yeah,
said that because if you're 30 or you could be 30 and today could be your last day, and you can be 80 and today could be your last day. Um,
yeah,
so none of us know. So get we should always have our affairs in order.
That's
None
right.
of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. We're gonna make mistakes, but we need to make sure that we are right with our maker.
Hmm.
yeah.
Don't want to get caught sleeping.
Right.
That tickle, Miss Alice, it tickles me to my core. I'd be like, you know what? I ain't trying to get caught slipping today. So yeah,
Well,
that's a good way to put it. I like that. We should make T-shirts
what?
with
Don't
some
get caught sleeping.
with some Bible scriptures on it. Like get yourself together.
Oh, young Vaughn, I tell you, you so funny.
I say we work with this.
But let me pull this up real quick for anybody who think that they may need help. Um, I meant to show it before. I've shown it before, but I'm gonna show it because somebody else may be in this live and they haven't seen it before. But if you need help, immediate help with fear and anxiety, call or text 988 to connect with the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can also text HOME, HOME, to 741-741 to reach the crisis text line. These services offer 24/7 support and are free and confidential. That's for anyone who, feel that they need help or they know someone else who may need help. So go ahead, y'all.
I will say an experience of listening to people's problems and being the type person because my mama tells me, okay, I love my mother, y'all. Um, yes, what Miss Alice just said, get you some help. There's no shame because y'all have to remember, they're professionals. They have the ability to, meet with you and all the attention is on you. Okay. Like for real. I can honestly say that's one thing I did and do like about therapy. Outside of the accountability and all that kind of stuff, I really didn't care for it. But um and they will work with you on that too. It's like anything that to me therapy is like a mirror. You see yourself, help you find yourself, you know what I'm saying? But and like I said, you don't have to worry about, being judged or anything like that. And you can always change your therapist, you know. I have, by the way, my therapist is a Christian based company. So, They all about the church and stuff and getting yourself right. It used to annoy me before I got saved. It was like, why everything have to do with God? Now it's a little different because it's like everything does have to do with God, truthfully. Okay. Whether you believe or not. Okay. There's a higher force out here, that's got something going on.
Hmm. Well, that may not be the answer for everybody, though. Sometimes Christian therapists, in my opinion, try to push things on you that you're not ready for, or that you're not
Hmm.
looking for. So you really want somebody that's kind of neutral, and it's okay for
Yeah.
them to have a Christian base or what have you, but you have to separate the church from the business. And a lot of times,
Yes.
people don't want to hear about church when they're going through their problems. Uh,
Hmm.
to me, that's another direction and another facet of life that they have to work on. So it's like they may want to just, deal with their anxiety or the fear or the depression. They have to get that worked out first before they could try to, uh, think about, getting their souls right with God. And so I don't say it's anything wrong with a Christian therapist. I'm not, downing them or
No,
anything.
no, I get what you're
But
saying.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying it just may not be the answer for everyone, though. Sometimes people are in despair, and a lot of times when people in despair, you try to tell them about God, that's the last person they want to hear about. They want you to
Right.
fix their problems, and they want you to give them most people really want a quick solution, when really in actuality there's no quick solution. You actually have the answer, and the therapist just help you realize that you already have the answers that you're seeking. And
Yeah.
so to
Yeah.
I
me,
I
Yeah,
basically,
think
I agree with you on that. I don't
yeah.
think that
yeah.
sometimes people tend to try to beat people with the word, and that does nothing but turn people off.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And if somebody is hungry, hey Joe, somebody is hungry,
Hi Joe.
they need something to eat. They don't need you to try to quote scriptures and stuff like that. You can
Hmm.
do that after you feed them.
Hmm.
You can talk to them about the Lord, but you need to meet people where they are. And if
Right.
that person needs, they just want somebody to listen to, you don't need to try to beat them up with the Bible. You start with love. That sometimes we get um too, I guess, I don't want to say too spiritual, but
Religious,
religious.
Yes.
Christianized.
I was finna
Yeah,
say
yeah.
Pharisee.
And what we're doing is
Holier
doing
than
more
thou.
harm. Yeah, we're doing more harm than good. You let your walk speak for itself. You can draw people to Christ just by being Christ-like. You don't
Amen.
have to beat people
Yeah.
up with,
That's
you
right.
know.
You got to beat them up with the word and the Bible,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and God this
Being
and
judgmental.
damnation.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. People
yeah,
feel like they got to use damnation. To think like that's the answer for everything, and it's not. And a lot of times it turns people off more than it turns them on.
Yeah.
So,
And
like
let me
Alice
say
say,
this.
if
What?
you're hungry,
Yeah.
give me something to eat. Don't be telling me about how good God is. I know He good because I woke up this morning,
right.
but I'm also hungry. Also, so maybe
Uh-huh.
he trying to tell you to give me something to eat.
Right. But
Yeah.
see, they see
No.
they see the love of God through you just by you feeding them.
Exactly.
Mm. Yeah, no, let me say this because I want y'all to think that. But no, my therapist, on the other hand, okay, there were some things that were said that I needed to hear. And like I said, although I was annoyed, okay, I later realized, okay, so that's why that happened. Because I've broken up with my therapist many times. We have an on and off again relationship. Because once you tell me I'm wrong, okay, I get a little in my feelings. And
Mm.
it's not even that if you're telling me I'm wrong, it's that when I realize, oh, wait a minute, this is my fault. I had a real issue with understanding how it was my fault. And when I say my fault, it wasn't that, he was like, oh, it's your fault. It was like, I would say things, I would give, what happened or my point of view, and it would be like, well, you have control over that. And it's like, no, I don't have, for example, but they did, but you have control over you. I couldn't stand that. Okay. Like my whole childhood, it was always, Kevon, be quiet. Kevon, don't say nothing. And I'm like, but they're talking, you know. So it's like things like that with me. When he would put it back onto me, that, hey, you actually can fix this problem. To me, it was like, no, they need to fix it. They need to stop messing with me. They need to stop, and I would get upset about that, or, I would be trying to control, how what other people were doing instead of trying to control myself. And I'm just giving y'all one example because there were so many things that was really, in my control that I
Yeah,
just
we
didn't
can
want to
see that.
hear.
Yeah, we can see that today on
Whatever,
some
sis.
instances.
So it's like, some things I definitely needed to hear, And I just want to say this too, okay? Yes, as Christians, we should show the love of God. But some of us be knowing better. Okay. Am I lying? Okay. Some of us be knowing better. And sometimes, you need to bring up damnation because folks be playing, and you need to
But
remind them.
we're not talking about that though. We're talking
Oh,
about
okay. All
we're
right.
talk,
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
we're
Yeah.
talking about
Okay.
and yeah,
I'm
don't
just
go
saying.
no, young
Come back. Come back, young Vaughn. Come back.
young
Oh,
Vaughn.
okay. All right. All
We're
right.
talking
I
about
hear y'all.
we're talking about in a time of need,
Right.
not
Because I was finna
greed.
go there. I was finna
No,
let it be known. The
we're
Bible say we supposed to hold each other accountable.
well, we do, but we're not talking about that today.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm back.
Yeah, come back. Yeah, we're just talking about when people have a time of when people are trying to heal themselves, and when
Hey,
they're in
Shadow.
Yeah.
when they're in a time of need
Right.
of somebody assisting them with getting over whatever it is, or getting through whatever it is that they're trying to get through, or try to understand whatever their issue is, and trying to help them work through their issue. Because I
Yeah.
just don't feel like you get over stuff. I just feel like you get through it. But I
Hey,
understand the
Shadow.
message. I understand what you're saying, though, young Vaughn, about people that know better. Totally understand that, and
Yeah.
and people taking accountability for their own actions.
Uh-huh.
But that is part of therapy. Also, is taking accountability of what you've caused, or taking accountability of why things are happening in the way that they are happening. Because all the
Right.
times it's not that other person. Sometimes it's you need to look within you to see what you
Hmm.
need to do different instead of blaming everybody else. It's better for you to take your own accountability, because once you take accountability of your actions, then it seems like you can solve whatever issue that you're having, and it seems like you can come to a conclusion of some type of solution
Hmm.
that will help you along the way.
Yeah. Are you listening, young Vaughn?
Miss Alice, I'm listening.
I just love that name. That is such a cute name for you.
I am
It's very
screaming.
catchy. It's very catchy.
Very, very
Young
catchy.
Bond.
Yes, yes. Very
That's
catchy.
what. Look, that's what I get for messing with other people. That's what I get.
Yeah,
That's what I get.
yeah. And that's what you get for hanging around older people.
Uh-huh.
All I'm saying is, okay, yeah, I'm gonna say this too. I'm in my look, and I'm not gonna say little, but in my, spiritual, Christian journey, you know, I it's not even. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that out loud because then the devil gonna come knocking. So never mind, y'all.
Okay.
But in
Oh
my
Lord,
Christian
please
journey.
do not bring him up. You and the Brill trying to bring these people up, and Jesus is not here today. And I just do not want to talk about them two people today.
I am hollering. All I'm gonna say is, it is a Alice, look, it is a everyday thing, and I'm just gonna say it again. When I watched Joe's, live about her, her working on her self journey, you
Mhm.
know, I think healing, and self care and self love is an everyday thing, you know. Because like I said, I want things to happen right now, And I used to compare myself to people a lot. Now I don't as much. It's kind of like dwindling away from me, because I put the focus back on me. It's like, okay, yeah, it was easy for them to do it. Well, not easy. This was their way. I'm learning my own way and not try to, you know, do what I see or hear everybody else doing. And
Mhm.
I think that comes with, my age, because it's just a little easier to be comfortable in my own skin, when it comes to certain things, and not try to do what everybody else does. And it's not easy, because I get judgment and, people are weird, but I like me so far. I like the person that I'm becoming, and I just try to focus on that. And I accept the people that accept me and not try to get the approval of everybody, you know, because, everybody, as much as I would love for everybody to be for me, but, I ain't that for everybody and everybody ain't for me. Okay.
That part,
So,
right? And you
you
would
know,
never achieve that. You would never achieve everybody liking you, and you would never achieve of people judging you. Okay, um, because everybody didn't like Jesus, and a lot of people judged him. And you have to look at things like, if they did it to Jesus, then they're gonna do it to you also. You're no better than him. You definitely no better than him. And
yeah.
they put him all the way, nailed him. They crucified him, put him all the way on the cross, and did all kind of things to Jesus. Doubted him, denied him, uh, betrayed him. They did everything that people do to us. It happened to Jesus. So we have to expect
Hmm.
these things in life, because if it happened to him, you can rest assured it's going to happen to you. And there's no way that you can please everybody. And there's no way that you can walk through this life without somebody criticizing you or judging you. That's just what life is all about. And it doesn't really matter what they say or what they call you. It's about what you answer to. Okay, that's basically how it goes. And people gonna have their own opinion about you or what have you, and that's fine. Let them have their opinion. And I'm just a big proponent, and I can show you better than I can tell you. And I just don't have to address everybody about every little thing, because like Alice say, I let my little light shine, and I let my walk show you about who I am. So you can say what you want to say, and criticize all you want, but as long as you know who you are, and you within your own skin, it doesn't matter about what everybody else thinks. It really, really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
She
can
just
I
took
can
the words
honestly.
out of my mouth.
Hmm.
She took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, I like the concept of, try it. What is it? Please God and not people.
There you
I
go.
like that concept,
Hmm.
because,
You just have to learn
people.
how to live it and execute it. And
Yeah.
you're young, you got that name for a reason, Young Bond. And so
Yeah.
every
I'm gonna get you. I'm
Hey,
gonna get
King.
you.
so
I'm gonna
everything
get
is
you.
not go, just like you said, you like Joe's struggle, how she it was a journey for her. Like Wanda, it's a journey. Life is a journey. Everything is not
Yes.
gonna happen right away. It's all of it is a journey. And it's all about what you make out of it. Life is, that's one thing God give us. He give us free will, and he give us the compass, and we can guide our life any kind of way we want to. He give us the ability to do right or to do wrong, or to even be in between both of them. But you are
Mhm.
in control of you, and you got your own compass. Nobody else can do that for you.
Right.
So
Miss Alice,
Once
you should
again, I
start a
agree.
healing channel. Let's all heal together.
this is a healing channel. What else you want the woman to do?
What? Look, we we're making business moves, sis. Okay, we need to get this together.
But I don't know what
What
else you
more do
want
you
folks to
want from
do. Yeah,
me?
what
I'm
you
just
want the woman
saying.
to do? She already got an inspiration channel. She try to be inspiring every week.
Look, we can. The name of the channel can be Healing with Alice. Okay, I like it. There go. I done gave
Is
y'all.
that not the same
Okay,
thing as blessed child of God? What's the difference?
you know what? You might be right, but still, Miss Alice, just keep that in your back pocket. Okay. We're gonna take over to YouTube.
Now, I think you just want a special session, and Alice, if she start calling you or texting you or emailing you, make sure you charge her a fee,
I'm
like
screaming.
like them therapists do. Okay, Alice.
I am hollering.
Since she wants some one-on-one time, charge her for that.
Just saying. I think Miss Alice would do wonders. Okay, Miss Alice, start a hotline. Okay, they gotta look.
Janice talking about, oh yes, young Vaughn.
Look, Miss Alice, everybody, okay, including me, gotta hit your cash app before they call you. Okay, no calls will be accepted without cash apps first. Where's Shanice at? Where's Shanice? we we need the
Well,
money
get your
first.
money together, young Vaughn, because you're gonna be calling the phone.
I'm hollering. Miss Alice, I got you. Okay. If I send you
Okay.
a cash app before I call you, just know it's session time. I'm screaming. I am screaming. We gonna have fun with this,
Well, you just
okay?
need to make an appointment. That's all I gotta say.
Look, Scorpio mama say I'm doing too much. Okay, I'm gonna relax. But now, Miss Alice, it's a great live. Okay, great live, great live, great live.
Well, I appreciate you. You and I said what I said. Joining the panel, and we didn't have to talk about what I said. What I said didn't want to talk about today.
Thank you, Jesus.
Janice said, "No time limit. Express yourselves."
Oh, but Janice, I am on a time limit because I gotta go because I'm gonna be busy in 20 minutes.
Oh, you
Yeah,
going
I
live?
have.
Yeah, I'm gonna go live in 20 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, on which channel?
My
Your
channel. My channel.
okay.
Yeah. So we haven't unfortunately we haven't been we still getting our channel together. And we thought we had it together, but um you got two perfectionists working together, so
Mm.
it's
Everything
like,
got to be right.
everything got to be
Okay.
exactly right.
We
And
ain't finna show up any kind of way. None of these.
right.
And that's how people don't get things done.
Miss
Well,
Alice.
it's not procrastination. It's just not you think
But
you like one thing or one way, and then and that's the problem when you have perfectionists, because if they wait too long, they'll change everything up. So the whole format been changed. The whole the whole live has been changed, and so of the first one that we were gonna do. So that's what's going on, guys.
okay.
So we working on some good content, Miss Alice. I promise.
Right.
Okay, we ain't gonna not get it done. You know I said what I said. Ain't finna not let it get done now.
That part. That part. If I have to get a substitute.
It's not
substitute.
what
Yeah,
she trying to.
if I
What?
have to get a substitute.
That's a threat. That's
Wow.
a threat.
Must
Miss
go
Alice,
on.
I think I just got my notice that I need to get it together. Okay, so let me adjust my shades. Dang, it just got dark up in here. Whew.
Now, I'm just saying, the show going, yeah, 1 month ain't gonna stop the show. That's all I'm saying. The show will be going on one way or the other.
Mhm.
Miss Alice, all she's saying is I better get it together. That's what she's saying. Okay.
She said you can be replaced.
I'm trying to figure out.
No,
I'm
no, no,
trying to
no, no,
look,
no.
look, Miss
No, no,
Alice.
no.
Who gonna be my replacement, sis? Who you gonna replace me with? Because you know it don't get no
Nobody.
better than Vaughn.
That's what I'm saying. No, I gotta have Young Von on the channel with me. No,
No, but
young Von gonna be
y'all,
there.
she gave me notice yesterday. Okay, so I ain't finding out nothing. I just didn't think she's gonna give me notice in public. I'm hollering.
She
So this
just put
this
you
ain't
on
new.
blast.
This ain't new to her. This is not new to her at all.
Miss Alice, you got one procrastinator and one that's gonna make it happen. Okay, but we both perfectionists. We've learned that. It's gonna get done.
Right.
Okay.
Perfectionist and oh my God. Stubborn and gotta have their way.
I am hollering.
Whew.
Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, just saying.
Uh,
But it's all good. It's all good. That's how you cook.
I'm screaming.
Like SBK said, that's how you cook. That's how you cook. And
Oh,
so,
look.
oh, speaking of, I know this
Do
is not the
I was gonna
subject,
say,
but
huh?
how about those
No.
beans and cornbread? How'd it turn out?
Oh, Miss Alice, here you go. Just put me on blast. I liked it. I don't know
Okay.
about, but I liked
Okay.
it.
Not so
I
good.
think
That,
no, it was
now,
good.
now,
I
now,
like
Alice.
it.
Now, Alice, this you asking the wrong question. Did them children eat that food, and did your husband eat it? That's how we can gauge if it was good or not.
Okay, I'm gonna say,
Sometimes if they don't want to,
Yeah,
no,
who
if
all
they don't
ate
want
at
to
the house?
starve, they might eat it.
Well, who all
look,
ate at the house?
okay, macaroni, of
and
course,
who
is
and
going
who
to be
and who
eaten.
asked for peanut butter and jelly?
Look, the macaroni is going to be eaten. Okay, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, and the cornbread, because they think it's cake because it's sweet.
okay.
But that's
Okay.
all I'm gonna say. Okay, so y'all leave me
All
alone.
right. Okay.
The
Well,
macaroni.
I just want to say this: practice make perfect. So don't give
Uh-huh.
up. Don't give up.
Right. Right.
Even though if it didn't turn out right this time, if you keep practicing it, it will make perfect.
100%
Figured
true.
I figured if I just keep going, eventually it'll taste like, my grandma's and my mama's. You know what I'm saying? It'll taste like, food, you know. Because Jim say I don't taste my own food. So, but I gotta work. I'm working on it.
Yeah, you just keep practicing though. You'll get better. Nobody learned
Uh-huh.
anything in one day. It ain't gonna all happen in one day, but you just got to keep going back in there. And if you keep going back in there, then you'll learn how to get it done right.
I mean, I can't
Janice said
give
just
up.
add hot sauce.
Just look, barbecue sauce and what's the other one? Ketchup. They love that.
Yeah,
But
and some
I
and
have
some
to
ranch
anyway.
dressing.
Yeah, I gotta gain my weight back. I got to get thicker than a Snicker. Okay, let me hush. We on Miss Alice panel. Okay.
But Miss Alice, the one brought it up.
Look,
you
I'm
just
going.
you just don't want to discuss it, but Alice is the one who brought it up.
Look. I'm gonna cook to shoe myself approved. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna show in the weight. Right.
So,
So
so
once
your
you hear me
husband,
get,
your husband didn't eat that food you cooked.
no, he does. He just says I don't. He says I need to taste my food while I'm cooking it. That's what he said.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and
Wanda
measure
said the
that.
first time she made beans, they were so salty, she had to throw them in the trash. She said in her mind she was seasoning and it was going to taste good. Her husband said that was unedible.
So, Miss Wanda, would you believe me if I had a couple stories like that, not just one?
Well,
I have.
I can actually cook, Vaughn. And my
You
husband told
can?
me, my ex-husband told me, you do not make a mean meatloaf. I was like, oh, okay. So
No, he didn't.
I never made meatloaf ever again. He had to make it if he wanted it.
Now I will say I can make meatloaf. But I have, well, for those of you who are friends with me on Instagram, I have a video of the first time I ever made chili. Now, I think I told y'all this. I didn't clean the beans, but I didn't know you was supposed to clean the beans. I just didn't know that. Okay. And my daughter wouldn't eat it, and I didn't know what was wrong with it. So when Jim got home, he what did he do? He came in the room and he said, "Baby, did you wash the beans?" And I'm like, "What?" He said, "Did you wash the beans?" I'm like, "You talking about the chili?" And he like, "Yeah." I said, "I was supposed to wash them." And he said, "Yeah, it tastes gritty." And I was like, "Oh." I couldn't figure out. I'm like, I'm eating it. It tastes like chili. Like I didn't even notice, y'all, that it was like gritty because I'm thinking it's my first time. Maybe I didn't cook, the sauce down or whatever. I don't know. It was like whatever. But my daughter wouldn't eat it, and it was like, maybe she just don't like the taste of it. And he was like, she not eating it because it's gritty. And I'm like, oh, so yeah, and that was years ago.
You gotta soak them also, right?
Yeah, see, I didn't know that, sis. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah. Well,
My grandma asked me.
It's a learning process, It's a learning.
She
process.
said,
Yeah.
she said they got the directions on the bag. I said, well, I didn't read, but y'all, this was years ago. Like I had one kid, okay, one kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know how to make chili. All right,
Yeah.
but apparently I just need to. But I think that's weird. Don't you get like salmonella? When you eat the food and it ain't cooked yet.
From meat.
Oh, okay.
From chicken, especially.
Yeah.
And eggs.
Yeah, but he said I should, taste it first.
But you don't
Well,
get
taste it
salmonella
wild.
from beans, though. You don't get salmonella from beans. You just get a
okay.
gritty taste in your mouth.
Yeah, you live and you learn. When I was a lot younger, I had to practice a lot of things. I'm not going to tell my story on here because y'all not going to try
see.
to.
I see you holding back.
Y'all not going to do me like that.
Miss Alice say, I'm keeping this tea to myself. Nope. But I got plenty of stories. I will say I've gotten much better. Much better.
Well, just keep practicing, child. You'll be all right. As long as the kids eat it, then you all right. You and your husband. If they eat it, then you cooking good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Just
and they don't end up in the hospital.
Just take the constructive criticism, well. That's all. That's what you got to overcome is the constructive criticism. And, call your folks and ask them how to cook it before. If you're not sure, call somebody and ask them.
Yes,
oh, no, they helped me.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
money.
Yeah, they helped me. He says I'll get better if I just taste my food. But now that y'all didn't told me, because I'm like, you ain't finna get sick. I ain't finna get sick tasting nothing.
No. You don't taste raw meat. You don't taste raw meat. No,
yeah.
That's not true.
No.
Please,
No, sis. I'm good with chicken. It's the new food that I'm trying to make.
Okay,
now I'm gonna say this. When I get to them oxtails,
don't taste anything raw, but like meat and stuff. You taste your vegetables. And like your cornbread mix and stuff like that. But yeah, don't taste any meats that's raw because you are going to get sick.
Yeah, I'm just trying new stuff,
Okay, but Alice, thank you for letting me come on the panel today. I really got to run, you guys.
Okay, you're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming and sharing.
Oh, no problem at all.
Keep it young Vaughn intact.
Oh yeah.
I wish y'all could see my face. I wish y'all could see my face.
She hanging with me. She gonna stay intact. Young. I'm gonna make sure I keep young Vaughn right on the right track.
Look, we have fun together.
and keep her busy. That's the key. Gotta keep her busy. See.
Yeah, because idle minds the devil's workshop.
There you go.
That's right.
Well, let's not talk about
Matter of fact,
today.
That's today's proverb.
I gotta go. Y'all have a nice day. I'm finna go get ready. Thank you guys for listening to me on the panel. It's been great, Alice. It's been great, young Vaughn, and that's my exit.
Love you, sis. I'll see you.
Love you.
Love y'all.
Lord. You just come up here acting up. Well, Miss Alice, I'm going to go too because we almost at the 2-hour mark, okay?
Yeah.
And I love you. Great live, okay? I don't know, if next Monday, I'm gonna have it all down packed. Okay. So next time, give me a warning. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing this
No,
out
I'm gonna make it on the 21st. I
of
think.
August.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I got plenty time. Okay, so y'all hear this, right? Miss Alice gonna give us a is it a game show? What is it?
Instead of 1 week, it'll be 2 weeks. Yeah. It's a giveaway.
Okay. So Miss Alice say watch all her playlists. Okay. So we got plenty of time to study. All right, to show ourselves approved of the giveaway. All right, because I'm finna win. Y'all know I don't
Okay.
got no job. All I do is be on YouTube. So just get ready. I love you, Miss Alice. I will see you
All
out
right.
on these
Love you
YouTube
too,
streets.
Vaughn.
Okay.
All
All right.
right. So thanks everybody for joining the live. I appreciate you all coming out. Thanks to those who were in the bushes. Thanks for your support as well. And let me go over the roll to see who was here. Oh, and also thanks to anyone who may be watching the replay. So we have Jamal Williams. Thank you, Jamal. Who that? Thanks, who that? Larry King. Thank you, Larry. We have Wanda of the Soul Session. Thanks, Wanda. We have Time. Thanks, Time. Scorpio Mama. Thanks, Scorpio Mama. Charlie's Angel. Thanks, Charlie's Angels. Mimi. Thanks, Mimi. Too Strong. Thanks, Too Strong. Nesto Shackle Shuffle Walk of Shame. Thank you, sis. Miss Buckeye. Thank you, Miss Buckeye. Sweet Rita. Thank you, Miss Sweet. Thank you, Sweet Rita. SBK. Thank you, SBK. Thank you, LC, for coming out the bushes to say hello. Thank you, Joe. Thriving Global Joe. Thank you, Shadow. And thank you, Key. And my moderators, Vaughn, Janice, Shay, Abril. I said what I said. Senna. And I believe that's it. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Thank you all for joining the live. And thank you, moderators, for always doing an excellent job. I appreciate you all. Again, as Vaughn was saying, mark your calendars for August 21st. That will be our next channel giveaway. And make sure that you watch the playlist, not just to help me with my watch hours, which that will help with the watch hours, but it may also help you win a prize when on the 21st. Again, I'm on live Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. And so I hope to see you all again on Monday. I pray again that this live has been a blessing to someone, that you enjoyed the conversation, and that you left this live with something that will help you in life. And if not you, help someone else that you truly love. So we're going to get out of here. But before I do, I want to remind you that God loves you even more than I do. And I really do love you all. After the music, we will be ending the live. I look forward to seeing you all again soon, if not in someone else's chat on Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern over here. Continues to stay blessed and continue to be a blessing to someone else.